Glad to see everybody here. All right, well, let's go ahead and get things underway here. I'll go ahead and jump into it. Cool. Excellent. Now, yeah, we're going to go ahead and jump into this. My name is Brian McAboy. So, in case you don't know who I am, I've been trading for almost 30 years now. So how long ago I started, and I put this presentation together for you. So, welcome to the 3 keys to predictable profits. The 3 things that you need to become a confident, consistently profitable trader in a matter of weeks and not years. And yes, I do mean that. So, since we are talking about trading, I do have to throw in this disclaimer. As you know, trading involves substantial financial risk. This presentation is for education purposes only and is not intended to induce anyone to initiate any investment or trade. Your trading results are entirely your responsibility. Now, what this is about today, and I'm very serious about all of it. Some of it will sound a little hypey, but I kid you not with all of it. I'm being very straight with you. And my background is engineering, so I do like to be very direct and down to earth with everybody. There is a proven method to make your profits predictable so that you can become a confident, consistently profitable trader. In the real world, even with the uncertainty of the markets, even if you've been struggling for years to make money or months to make money so far. And the cool thing about it is this doesn't take 5 to 10 years. This does not take a long time with what you're going to learn here today. This is what you're going to like it. Now, why this is important, and again, I kid you not about this, until you learn how to make your profits predictable, you will forever be gambling, chasing the markets, chasing strategies, and questioning yourself and losing confidence. You'd be amazed how many people have been trading for 2, 5, 8, 10, 12, 15 years, and they're still struggling. They haven't gotten to that that point where, yes, they're just comfortable and trading profitably. They've been at it for that long. And so pay attention, because again, this is going to make a big difference. You're going to hear things today that you haven't heard before elsewhere. So now, the sad thing about it is the struggle can go on for years, where you live in nearly constant anxiety every day, not knowing if you'll lose or make money this month. If you pay attention and you apply what you learned here today, this will become the turning point in your trading career. So who's Brian McAvoy and why should you listen to him? Okay, yeah, who is this guy? Well, first of all, I'm a degreed mechanical engineer. I'm an ASQ certified quality engineer. And you're going to understand as we go through this why the quality engineering is such a big deal. It really is. It was what allowed me to turn my trading around. It's what's allowed me to help thousands of traders turn their trading around. I mean, over the last, well, of course, I created InsideOutTrading.com. But over the last 17 years, I've helped over 3,000 traders go from losing money to consistently profitable and to take their confidence from a 2 to an 8 or a 9 and very quickly. I've also had numerous brokers and educators take my training. I've also had several other trading educators license my courses so that they could provide it under their own name. And so that's really cool. And I don't mean to brag, but it is effective. I mean, like for Armando, he says, I've been able to achieve the consistency that my trading lacked for the past 8 years. He'd been struggling with it for 8 years, and we got him turned around in a matter of weeks. So this stuff does work. For Antanas, he said, I've taken your course and it's helped me to turn my trading around from one of an amusing and mostly frustrating online gambling activity to one in which I can rely on the returns that my system puts out, and it has removed all anxiety. And the professional's perspective, John Foreman is a professional trader and market analyst. He used to be a market analyst for Reuters. Says Brian McAvoy brings refreshing new perspective to trader development. His background in process engineering really lets him approach things in a completely different way than most trading educators. As a result, you won't get the same old tired material from him. He'll allow you to see your trading from a whole new angle, one which can definitely help you be a better trader. So my intention today with this presentation, in our small amount of time together today, my goal is to make the big impact in the following ways. I want you to have confidence where there was once doubt and uncertainty, and clarity where there was once confusion. And seriously, the main thing is I want to unlock the true potential you have to live the life you desire through trading. When trading is not working, it can suck, and it can just be a bane on your life. But when it's working, it can be wonderful. And I really want to help you unlock that and make it happen for you. If nothing else, I want you to leave this training today with new understandings and perspectives on trading that serve you well and allow you to make substantial progress forward toward your goals. Now, what I need from you, though, no matter where you are now with your trading, you're here because you want better. And better means different from the past and the status quo. The only way to get new results is by doing something different than you have in the past. So what I need from you is implementation. Nothing pains me more than giving you a solution, yet running into you years later, still clinging hopelessly to your problem. And this, unfortunately, for a lot of, and I'm not the only trading provider, and that runs into this, but it kills me when I have somebody email me and they say, hey, Brian, I'd like to, get your help. I've been on your list for 10 years and I just never have done anything. And I've lost, $250,000. I'm about to lose my marriage, but I don't want to give up trading. I still need your help. And it just kills me when that happens, because it's like, they've been getting the information and they just haven't done anything with it. Don't let that be you. Make sure that you act on, even if you only pick up one or two things out of this presentation today, make sure that you apply it to your trading, because that's what matters, is if you do something with it. If you don't do anything with it, it's a waste of time for both of us. Now, how this came to be. Before trading, I was quality assurance manager in a $100 million manufacturing plant. We're making plastic bottles for Coke and Pepsi and Gatorade. It was a high-speed, high-volume operation, and these are hard customers. They really are. They don't put up with any nonsense or mistakes. Consistency was a must. Mistakes could cost us up to $25,000 an hour at a customer plant. If we shut them down for a quality issue or because the truck was late, over the delivery quality issue, that kind of stuff, seriously, they would bill us $25,000 an hour. So even, if it was only a 4-hour problem, that was $100,000 that they would bill us for. We had no margin for error. We had to run well, and we had to produce good product day in, day out, week in, week out. And as the quality manager, that was my job to make sure that we got good, consistent performance out of the entire plant. It was a big plant too. Except it's a $100 million manufacturing plant. We had 27 lines producing product. But I mean, we had literally dozens and dozens of trucks leaving our shipping docks every day. Our volumes ran in the billions annually as far as bottles that we were running. Like I said, we had no margin for error. It was razor thin margins. Okay, so that's my background. Now, as far as my trading story, I'm gonna go and pause the screen share here for a minute. You don't need to be reading this. Okay, so as far as my trading story, I mean, I started off like most traders. I took a look at trading, and it's like, okay, I get it. Okay, and I kind of just jumped in thinking, hey, I'll figure it out as I go. But I had no, real training to be a trader. I just, it's like, yeah, I get it, cool, and I jumped in. And at the time, I had a book that I'd gotten, and I had my broker, who was not much help. He just wanted to make sure I'm placing trades and he's getting his commission. And I got kind of lucky. I started with $30,000. I ran my account up to over $47,000. And then I hit that point where it's like, okay, bam, and the self-sabotage and the process of blowing up my account began. And I ran my account all the way down to $1,700. And so, it caught that lesson, and that whole first year cost me a whole ton of money, a lot of self-esteem, and it almost cost me my marriage. Now, the thing is, I did wind up taking a break from trading, but I wasn't done. I talked with a friend of mine one afternoon, and was telling her about what happened, and how I just couldn't understand, because I've been successful at most of the things that I had pursued, but trading just kicked my butt. And so, I told her, I just kept chasing trades, and I couldn't stick to my system, and I was all over the place. And she looked at me and she's like, Brian, at the plant where you work, you guys make plastic bottles. I've seen the line. It's just a freaking blur of bottles going down those lines. I mean, your place runs extremely well though. And that's all that that's all you're doing from quality assurance is making sure that everything runs real well, and you're really good at it. Your plant does very well. Why don't you just take what you use in quality at work and apply it to your trading? I mean, isn't quality all about intentional, success and consistency? I mean, isn't that what quality is all about? And so, I'm looking at her and it's like, duh, yeah, okay, duh. And so what I did was I took the practices and the activities and the tools from quality assurance that I used at work every day, and I applied them to my trading. And it was amazing because it really worked. It worked amazingly well. And if you think about it, I mean, again, here's why quality assurance is such a big deal. Quality assurance was developed decades ago because, every business has a problem with consistency. And the problem is every inconsistency has a cost to it, usually scrap or lost time, downtime, wasted materials, rework, all kinds of stuff. So inconsistency is a big problem in the business world, big problem, big enough that back in the 70s and 80s, the Japanese had hired Deming to come over to Japan and help them, fix their automotive industry. They had a reputation of making cute, cheap little cars. But they were struggling to make money and had a crummy reputation because, if one of their cars made it to 100,000 miles, it's like amazing. And even if it did make it that far, it would be like rusting apart, falling apart on the ground. And so they wanted to change that. And they brought Deming over. He was a quality engineer from the US. They brought him over and he taught him about quality assurance. And instead of quality control, which used to be the practice where you have inspectors standing on the line hoping to catch bad product before it goes down the line or gets out the door, quality assurance is all about taking a look at everything you have going on and looking at it as a process and then getting such a solid handle on that process that you know what the output is, that you don't even need the inspectors on the line anymore checking product because you've got a solid process. And that's why it's so perfect for traders. And the cool thing is, I didn't invent quality assurance, but it's been proven all around the world over decades in every industry on the planet. And it just plain works for getting consistency built into your business. And for trading, it's absolutely perfect. At its core, quality is all about taking processes, activities, and making them very consistent and reliable and producing a desirable output. So again, it's perfect for trading. And again, I took all that I was doing on quality and I applied it to what I was doing with my trading, and it worked amazingly well. I was able to get consistently profitable really fast and stay that way. And that's the cool thing about it. And that let me gain my own confidence back. And like I said, when I blew up my account, it almost cost me my marriage, but that also allowed me to gain my wife's trust back, because now I could show her, it's like, yeah, hey, I've got a solid handle on this now. I know what I'm doing. I'm not just out here trying stuff, hoping to make money. I know what I'm doing now. And that's what was really cool about it. Okay. Now, why do I do what I do? The reason I'm here with you, I know what it's like. I know the heartache of blowing up an account and watching myself destroy it, feeling helpless the whole time. You may know what that's like. But the thing is, I also know how, when your trading's not going well, I know what it feels like to look at the people around you, like, your wife, maybe your kids or whatever, and they see you're struggling, and also, the strain that it puts on the relationships. I know what that's like too. And so that's what I do. That's why I do what I do now, so that I can hopefully help you avoid the same fate. So, and I'm going to turn the screen share back on. What you're going to discover today, this is what we're going to cover. We're going to be looking at, hang on a second, again, my throat's a little clogged up. Okay, we're going to be looking at the simple secret to making money trading. You're going to like this, and it's so simple, but it is so straightforward, and it is so perfect, and you're going to like it. We're going to look at the 3 obstacles to consistent profits. And again, these are things that you haven't heard about before. So make sure you're paying attention, because if you miss this, it's going to cost you. You'll learn it the hard way if you ever learn it at all. There are certain obstacles that keep you from being able to enjoy consistent profits. So we're going to be looking at also how 2 of those 3 things have nothing to do with discipline or sticking to your rules. Seriously, 2 of the 3, that's not what it's about. And we're also going to look, of course, at the 3 keys to actually realizing consistent, predictable, reliable profits month in and month out. And this was what's really cool. This is how you get control of your trading and make it what you want it to be, and no longer be subject to the whims of the markets. You gain control over your trading. That's the best thing about it. Okay. Now, the fastest way to create a breakthrough in your trading is to have a new and different experience with it. So long as you're reinforcing the past and just doing the same as you always have, you're going to keep getting the same results. Change is going to be really difficult to have happen. So now the thing is, this all starts in your head, though. Trading is largely a mental game. And so you got to start in your head. False beliefs will keep you stuck and looking in the wrong places for answers almost indefinitely. Here's proof. A while back, I surveyed my list and I said, okay, so when you came to me for help, how long had you been trading? And the average was 4.6 years that they had already been trading. and almost 5 years, and 82.6% of them were not happy with their results. That's like the great majority of them. After almost 5 years, they still weren't happy with their trading. So this is where we got to start, breaking some of the things that mentally are keeping you stuck, that are holding you back. Now, myth number one is, hey, if I can just find a good strategy. I can't tell you how many times I've heard somebody say that. Just find a good strategy. And I mean, it's perfectly understandable, though. And I did the same thing early on. Of course, you do need a decent strategy, but the thing is, the magic's not in the strategy. And so many traders wind up on what I call the quest. That's this endless search, looking for that one strategy that was going to solve all your problems. That one strategy, that you can count on to, finally, you can just relax and know that you're going to be okay. And they just keep going from one to the next, and they're watching YouTube videos and always looking for who's making money, and they're just watching this guy and that. And the thing is, there are dozens of strategies that work and have been proven, profitable. They've been well published. And it kills me, because also almost everybody that comes to me for help, excuse me, almost everybody that comes to me has had at least one good system in their hands along the way. They just weren't able to make it work, and or at least not long enough, to where they could build up the confidence to stick with it before they gave up and moved on. It happens a lot. Now, the reality is, a good strategy will not automatically make you a consistently profitable trader. You do need a decent strategy, but it's not like the strategy is the magic. It's not like all of a sudden it's going to turn you into a profitable trader. I mean, that's like me thinking that all I need to be a really good golfer is to go buy a good set of golf clubs, and I'll be another Tiger Woods. It doesn't work that way. And I'll still be me, a rank amateur shanking balls all over the course. I'll just have a better set of clubs than I'm doing it with. Same thing. So myth number two, so many traders think, hey, I got a good strategy, but I just can't seem to do what I know I should do. The problem must be me. What I need to fix is me. They're thinking that, they got some deep subconscious issue, like a problem with with their relationship with money, or, fair success, or some deep mommy daddy issue, that's keeping them from being successful as a trader. But see, here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with you. There really isn't, at least not the way you think. The issues that you're battling in your trading are from your trading experiences in ways that you're not aware of. And again, this is where you're going to find out some stuff today you haven't heard before, especially as far as the psychology of trading. I mean, the thing is, these issues, they're not because you're somehow broken as a person. Whatever issues you may have outside of trading and, before trading, are likely not so severe that will prevent your success. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in a position to trade. Uncovering whatever, your mommy said to you when you were 5 years old that hurt your feelings, and resolving that, okay, it'll resolve that trauma, but that's not automatically going to turn you into a consistently profitable, confident trader. It just doesn't work that way. It's just going to resolve that issue. Okay. Myth number three. No, I don't need any trading, but, besides, it's too expensive. I can just figure this out on my own, and, by watching others on YouTube. And if so, my response to that is, because, again, I've gone that route. If you think education is expensive, try ignorance. I mean, besides, if you think about it, in today's internet age, the problem is not a lack of available information. Information overload is the problem. And in trading, sorting through the avalanche of information, all the bad information and the BS and the hype and the garbage that's out there, that's the challenge. It's not that, there's not information available. The information out there, it's like, okay, how do I sort through it to know what's worthwhile? And the thing is, when you don't know what's true and what's not, it's easy to get suckered by everybody screaming easy money. They're looking for you. Now, you wind up, you're just going through a lot of trial and error, losses, and personal lessons that only beat down your confidence and drain your account. That's the problem, with the whole free education route. Like I said, it's not that the information isn't there. It's like you got this avalanche out there, and it's like, okay, how do I find that needle in the haystack out of all this stuff? Okay, because see, the reality is, trial and error really is the most expensive way to learn in trading. It is. It's going to cost you tons of time, and it's going to cost you in losses. Okay, I'm going to mute myself for a second. Okay, sorry about that. I just had to go and clear my throat. Okay, it really is. Because see, the thing is, the markets don't teach. They only punish you for making mistakes, but the markets, they don't teach you what you're doing wrong. It's not like they're going to tell you, oh, no, this is what you did wrong, and here's how you fix it. The markets will just slap you and take your money, slap you and take your money, slap you and take your money for years. if you don't learn the lesson. But again, they're not going to help you. They don't care. They're just the markets. Okay, myth number 4. And this is a big one. So really seriously, pay attention to this. Here's the big myth. Trading is emotional. So you have to learn how to control your emotions, and maintain that iron discipline. That's a myth. I mean, consider this. Just think about this for a second. If you take a person of reasonable intelligence and ability, and you throw them into a challenging skill-based occupation, but you don't give them the adequate training and proper preparation for it, the experience is very likely to be stressful, difficult, filled with mistakes, and it's going to be almost impossible for it not to be emotional. But if you take that same person and you give them adequate training and proper preparation, and then you throw them into the activity, they'll go do their thing and they'll be fine. So the real problem is, and what I found, is that most traders, they don't have a lack of discipline. You don't have psychological issues. You don't have emotional control issues. You have lack of proper training issues. That's the issue. And here's the thing. The reality is, when you give a person proper and adequate training for this occupation, it's no longer an emotional ride. Seriously. I mean, if you think about it, at your job, whatever it is, you've done, or, the job you currently have, or, maybe ones that you've done in the past, did you have a big emotional challenges, at your job? And no. And it's very likely, and here's the thing, it is extremely likely that you've had jobs that were more complex and sophisticated than trading, seriously. But the thing is, you had a solid handle on how to do that job and how to do it well. So it wasn't an emotional ride, right? Trading done correctly is not any more of an emotional experience than a regular job when you're doing it right. That's the thing. When you have the skill set and the competence and that knowing that, yes, I've got a handle on this, I know what I'm doing, it's not an emotional ride. It's just like any other job. And that's one of the cool things. So the myth that, trading is emotional and you just have to figure it out. No, that's a big myth. Okay. Myth number 5. Since I know how trading works and I know what I'm supposed to do, I should be able to be successful at it. It's just a matter of staying focused and disciplined. Big thing here. That's an easy pitfall to fall into, but it just doesn't work that way. I mean, for example, and I like the golf metaphor. I like golf, but I'm not a good golfer. My dad was a pretty good golfer. My grandfather was good enough to be a pro at his local course, but I never got the bug. Now, here's the thing. As far when it comes to golf, I understand the game. I know all the rules. I know how it works, and I know what I'm supposed to do. But that doesn't make me a good golfer. Even though I've played, for a number of times over the years, I'm still a rank amateur. Being a good golfer takes skill and know-how that I just don't have. And that's okay. But the thing is, trading's the same way. Just because you understand how it works and you know what you're supposed to do, that doesn't make you good at it. Trading is a skill-based activity, and the things, most skill-based performance activities are the same way. You can look at it, you can say, yeah, I get it. I see how it works. I know what I'm supposed to do. That doesn't make you good at it. The reality is, trading is a skill-based occupation. And until you acquire the full skills, set of skills for this job, it's going to be rough. That's a fact of life. That's the reality. Until you acquire the skills, it's going to be rough. Okay, so question time. Yeah, as far as these myths and realities, go ahead in the chat. Put in the chat. Which one really resonates with you. Which ones? Seriously, go and throw in the chat. Which of these myths have you run into? Let's see. Okay, Decorating says, I disagree. You don't make money. It's the strategy that makes the money. Strategy has to be purely mechanical. Well, the thing is, it's still in the execution of the strategy. That's the thing. You can have the greatest strategy in the world. Okay. All right. We'll go ahead and keep moving here. Now, again, what we're going to cover today, the simple secret to making money trading, the 3 obstacles to consistent profits, how 2 of the 3 have nothing to do with discipline and sticking to your rules. Oh, Andy says, I can't control my emotion. Yeah. Okay. You're going to like what you hear, what you learned today. Seriously. It's going to help you a lot with that. And we're also going to cover the 3 keys to actually realize consistent profits month in and month out. So let's go and let's get started. Now, I'm going to share the simple secret to making money with you, or making money trading with you in just a minute. But first, I do not want you to make the mistake that will prevent you from capitalizing on this simple secret. Seriously. Okay, fear of losing money, greed always takes over. Yep. Hate to lose money, then trying to make it back. Yep. I hear you guys. Yep. Discipline to execute your strategy. Will we get a recording? I believe recording will be made available. Yes. So, all right. Anyway, yeah, like I said, let's get started. And again, it's just to help you avoid a mistake of missing this. Here's the thing, and this is a quote from Mark Twain. He said, "What gets us into trouble isn't what we don't know. It's what we know for sure that just ain't so." And what he means by that is, yeah, if we think something, but it's incorrect, it's going to screw us up. That's why we were covering some of the myths. But so let's go ahead and keep moving here. Here's the limiting mistake. Most traders assume that if they're struggling to make money consistently, if they regularly do the things that hurt the bottom line, like hesitating, chasing trades, over trading, staying in, too long in a trade, they assume that they know the cause is discipline. And so they don't need to look any further. That's the big problem. If you think you already know the answer, you're not going to look for answers other than where you're already looking, right? That's the problem. Now, the thing is, discipline is part of it, but it's not all of it. There's more to it than just discipline. There's more to it than just psychology and mindset, the way most everyone thinks about it, and the way you hear most of the conversations go about psychology and mindset. There are two other factors at play here that contribute as much, if not more, than a lack of discipline. Seriously. There are three obstacles, and if you don't address all three, that consistency that you're looking for will continue to elude you. You'll continue to be frustrated with missed profits and unnecessary losses. Okay, so that said, here's the secret and the three obstacles. You're going to like this. This is the simple secret to making money trading. And I kid you not, this is the one thing. If you don't get anything else out of this presentation, if you walk away with this, it will serve you well for the rest of your life trading. And here it is. An average or even mediocre strategy executed consistently will outperform and make more money than a great strategy executed inconsistently. Doesn't matter what the strategy is. Seriously, it's all in the execution. Dagran says, I'm waiting for the sauce hands rubbing. Cool. All right. So the simple secret of making money trading, if you want to restate it differently, if you want consistent profits, focus on consistency first. When you get the consistency part right, adjusting for profit becomes easy. Seriously. Again, this is like the big lesson from quality assurance. If you go for consistency first, consistency matters more than the strategy you're using. It really does. If you got a great strategy, but you can't execute it consistently, who cares what your strategy is? But if you got that consistency, man, you can use pretty much anything you want. And that's what's cool. So, all right. So why doesn't it happen though? Okay, this seems like pretty evident, right? Okay. There are generally two things traders do that keep you from enjoying consistent profits. The first one is the approach that most traders take. It's backwards from a consistency standpoint. It really is. The second is failing to understand the obstacles that keep you from being able to execute consistently. So these are the two big things. The first is the approach you're taking. The second is not understanding what's really keeping you from being able to do it. And that's what we're about to talk about. Because see, the thing is, like I said, most traders are going at it backwards. If the goal is consistent profit, most traders are going at it backwards from a consistency or from a process perspective. Again, quality is all about processes. So most traders, they say, well, just look for a good strategy and they'll figure out how to be consistent with it. That's the way most traders think. And I'm not judging anybody. I did the same thing. I really did. I know what it's like. I did the same thing early on. But this is the problem. If you're thinking, no, I want to get profitable first, then I'll figure out how to get consistent with it. That's backwards. The better approach is to focus on consistency first, then profits. And here's why. It is so much easier to adjust the consistent trading process for better performance than it is to try to fix trading that's all over the place. Does that make sense? Okay. So let's look at the three obstacles. And really, these are the three things that are keeping you from enjoying consistency in your trading. So if you've been distracted for a while, if you're looking at Facebook, whatever, I know this is, PowerPoint presentation, maybe you're just listening. But this is where you want to pay attention. Seriously, these are the big deals. And you're going to hear about right now, you're going to learn some things you haven't heard before. Okay. This is new stuff. And I almost guarantee you, at least one of these three, if not all of them, will apply to you. Okay. Obstacle number one, yes, deviating from your system. This is a very common obstacle, where you just plain don't do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it, or doing things that you shouldn't. And most traders, though, see this as a result of emotions and a lack of discipline or some other, psychological issue. Okay. Now, here's where the misunderstanding comes in. But the thing is, you're not messed up. What I've found in working with hundreds of traders is that most traders don't have significant psychological issues, at least not that they bring to trading from the outside. As a person, you're okay. If you think about it, if you had serious issues, regarding discipline, success, or money, you wouldn't be in a position to trade, but you are. And so you've already demonstrated that, you have what it takes. Just the fact that you're here demonstrates that you have what it takes to succeed. So, thinking that, I just have, discipline issues, or, I have, fear of success or problems with money. Maybe you do, but not to such a degree that it should be preventing you from succeeding in trading. That's not the problem. Again, the fact that you're here, that you have been able to achieve a certain amount of success, and the fact that you're here as a trader in a position to trade, that's proof positive that you have what it takes. Okay, so is it possible that there's another cause of the deviation problem? One that fortunately is much easier to address. Okay, now one thing we talked about in myth number 4 is, when you're trying to do a job for which you're not properly prepared, it will be rough, it'll be stressful, and it'll be emotional. But for traders, there's another aspect to the psychology that no one talks about, and this is critical to understand. And really, this is worse than inadequate training. For traders, the situation is even more challenging, and it's due to what I call the kiss of death. Now, so what is this kiss of death, and how can you tell if it's happened to you? Well, it's an event that happens, and it affects you mentally and emotionally in almost every aspect of your trading. And this is often a long-lasting, sometimes permanent effect. Where the problem begins, for most traders, unfortunately, they begin active trading very unprepared. I mean, enough to be dangerous is probably the most appropriate description that I've found. And again, I'm not judging anybody. I did the same thing. When I first started trading with real money, I knew enough to be dangerous. I knew enough to say, okay, I get trading. I understand, how to place trades. Cool, I'm going to jump in. I knew enough to be dangerous, but I did not know what I was doing. And so, and I just kind of like it, the term enough to be dangerous. It's like it came to me after years working with people. Like, this is the forward phrase that really describes most traders. They know enough to be dangerous, but they don't know enough to be good at trading. And again, I'm not judging anybody. I did the same. I did the same thing. So, but if if it sounds familiar, cool. That's good news, because now you can do something about it. Okay. See, the thing is, there's this crucial moment, a brief moment in time when your fate as a trader is largely decided. When you engage in an activity like trading without the proper training, a lot of detrimental things happen for you in a very deep, profound way. This kiss of death. I mean, when you begin trading with real money and you're still at that enough to be dangerous point, unaware of the skills that you need, and largely, if completely untrained as a trader, there's a number of things that happen that kind of set you on the course to ruin. And this is the kiss of death. Here's what happens to you. See, prior to placing your first trade, everything was just theoretical at that point. Once you place that first trade, though, then it became reality, because it went from being something you were just thinking about, just mental image, to becoming your experience. And that's huge. When that happens during those early days of trading, you established a whole bunch of mindset and mental framework that you would carry forward. Your expectations, your emotional responses, the triggers and associations, perceptions of yourself as a trader, the markets, trading itself, and a whole lot of other points of reference all get hardwired into you during those days and weeks and months. This is a big deal, again, from a psychological standpoint, because the thing is, during that time, especially when you're still at the level where you don't have a solid handle on it, you're establishing what you consider normal. And one of the most damaging mental constructs established in this period is, yes, what I think is normal for trading and for me as a trader. Because you got so many hours, so many traders, they just get used to that struggling and putting in the long hours without realizing success. The try and fail cycle, the getting angry, the revenge trading, the getting hurt, the chasing trades, the FOMO, all that kind of stuff. It all just feels like, hey, this is a normal part of trading, and you just get used to it. That's where the damage comes in, because again, it just gets wired into you. And the other problem is, again, your mind closes up. That's at this point with the kiss of death. When you acted on that initial decision to go ahead and start trading at a rather significant level, mentally, you drew the conclusion that you were ready and that you had all you needed to get started. And when that happens, your mind closes to a large degree and you stop looking to learn. It's like, I just want to get busy. Okay. Most traders get stuck. I mean, this mind closing combined with the apparent simplicity of trading plus all the scams and the BS, the misinformation out there leaves most traders really jaded and limited to thinking that if I can just find a good system, then somehow everything will be okay. But the thing is, mentally and emotionally, they get stuck. It's like, no, I've already learned, all I really need to learn, if I could just find that good strategy. And that's where they stay stuck. And again, I've seen so many traders, they get stuck there for years. It kills me when it's like 8, 10, 12 years, and they're still stuck at the same point that they were at year 2. So, because here's the thing, during those early years, it's bad training. It's not just inadequate training, it's bad training. And again, I did the same thing. I'm not judging anybody, but I did the exact same thing. During those first crucial weeks and months of active trading, while you're not prepared for the challenges, you're still being trained, but it's bad training. You're practicing bad trading. I mean, and again, I did the same thing. My first year, every day I was practicing nervous, unskilled, emotional trading. Again, angry trading, revenge trading, chasing the market, seeing a move, jumping on it, ignoring my system, changing systems all the time. That's what was my daily routine, and that's what I was practicing. That's what I was training to do. So again, it's bad wiring though. I mean, since it's an actual experience and not just some, thing you're thinking about, this bad training is hardwiring you in the process, just like any other training. Your conscious experience is wiring your brain, and your emotional experience is wiring your nervous system throughout your whole body. And that's what's going on. That's one of the biggest reasons why it's so hard to overcome this, this discipline challenge, the fighting your emotions, all that kind of stuff, because a lot of this, it got wired into you, and it got wired into you over a period of time as your experience. So, okay, back to deviating. It's not simply a matter of discipline. The emotional, undisciplined trading has been established as the normal in how you got wired in the early days and weeks of trading with real money. It's how you got trained in the beginning. Is this making sense? I mean, yeah, question time. Can you see how, maybe it's not just a matter of, lack of discipline, but really a matter of bad mental habits and perspectives and emotional responses that have been wired into your brain and your body? I mean, can you guys relate to this? When I learned this and I discovered this was a huge aha for me, because it's like, yeah, it's not just, some weakness, some lack of discipline. It's like, man, I'm fighting something that got wired into me because I was experiencing it for like almost a whole year. That was my training. Okay, so let's keep moving along. Obstacle number 2, changes. Big deal here. See, most traders have the natural impulse to do something when things aren't working. And, in life in general, yeah, this is a good thing. But in trading, this can present problems that accumulate big time over time. And if your system doesn't appear to be working and you make an adjustment trying to fix it, this is the problem. Because see, all these regular adjustments and modifications, they add up over time. And, after 3 to 6 months, you end up with a whole different system than where you were a while back. And the problem is most traders are trading from memory. And so they don't know, which of the changes they made along the way, which changes helped and which ones hurt. They don't know. And worst of all, they don't even know, what worked to start with because they can't remember it. And they've made all these changes. And it's like, crap, I'm lost now. Things aren't working, but I don't even know where to go back to it. But the thing is, it's like you're working with a changing system. And so it's just a state of constant change. And so, of course, if you change, if what you're doing constantly changes, of course, your results are going to change too. You're creating inconsistency through your actions because every time you make a change, it's effectively a new system because, you're changing what you're doing every time. It's like if you keep adjusting a stop or if you move your take profit target, and you're always playing with these things, or, you add an indicator, you take an indicator out. And again, you're constantly changing. If your goal is consistent profits over any length of time, you can't just chase the markets. Seriously. Again, it's inconsistency through your actions. You're chasing the markets. And the thing is, so many traders, wind up changing their system over, what happened yesterday or last week. But the thing is, you'll never catch the markets. If you're constantly changing your system, trying to change what just happened, you're constantly changing what you're doing. Of course, you're not going to get consistent profits because you're constantly changing what you do. You're, by definition, you're making it inconsistent by your own actions. So again, okay, question time. Can you see how, you could actually be sticking to your system? But if your system is constantly getting changed and adjusted and tweaked all the time, yeah, this is going to affect the consistency of your results from one month to the next. I mean, does this make sense? Yeah, Patrick. Yeah, 100% agree with bad wiring during the initial phase of my trading journey. Yep. Um, Nikkei. Let's see. Strategy works as far as I can remember. Had a few losing trades, trying enhancing my strategy. I guess I ended up putting my whole strategy. Yeah, it's hilarious. So many traders when they come to me, it's like, one of the first things I'll do is say, send me your system so we can take a look at it. And so often, one of the things that happens is, they will have started with something that was a good idea, a good strategy, and they added stuff over time. And really, all the stuff they added just kind of took the profit out of it. And it's like when we strip it back down to where they started, it's actually a good system and it does work. And it's hilarious because all the things they were trying to do, to make it better really just killed the profit of it and made it more difficult to trade. Okay. So, all right, moving on. Obstacle number 3. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, the other question. Now, can you also see, though, here's the thing. I mean, to make changes and adjust isn't necessarily a terrible thing in and of itself. But if nobody ever showed you how to make changes to your system in a calculated, organized, and business-like manner, then again, this kind of goes back to your training, rather than a matter of personal, a personal matter of discipline or lack of self-control. I mean, does this make sense? It's okay. It is okay to make changes once in a while, but if you have to do it the right way. If you're just making changes, chasing the markets, that's a problem. If you're doing things in a calculated manner, it's a whole different story. And that's how you can stay on top of the game and adjust to the markets as things change over time. But you're doing it in, a calculated business-like manner. And again, it goes back to your training. Okay, so obstacle number 3, not having a solid system to start with. Yeah, believe it or not, this is a huge problem that a lot of traders never think to question. Now, this was really brought home for me way back in 2009. I was working with several traders. It was like hesitation was the flavor of this period of time, like 3 months. And the thing is, talking with them, and I'm working with everybody, we explored all the normal psychological aspects, looking at, behavioral condition, psychology, cognitive psychology, self-sabotage, all the normal psychological stuff. But I wasn't really finding anything that explained, why they were fighting hesitation so much. And so this one day, talking with this one client, and it just came to me. It's like, well, ask him about his system. And this was a huge aha moment for me and them. Because the thing is, this one guy in particular, we're talking about, how he's hesitating and all this kind of stuff, and his energy's about like this. We get talking about, tell me about your system. Man, he gets all, excited and he's pumped up because he really liked his strategy. And he's telling me about it. But as we get into it, we hit a couple of points where I could hear it in his voice, but he was getting kind of frustrated, and it was difficult for him to articulate, what was going on at that point in his strategy. And I'm like, well, let's keep going. But we went through the whole thing, and we kept hitting these points. And what we realized was, again, me being a quality assurance engineer, when we went through a system in detail and we fixed the issues, we fixed the functional issues of his strategy, was really cool, because now his hesitation just fell away. And here's what was going on. I mean, he was thinking he had, some psychological issues going on, that there was something wrong with him. But the hidden problem that was there is, he didn't think to, challenge the system itself. He didn't even look there. But the thing is, his subconscious knew that there were problems there. And that's why he was hesitating. He didn't know how to recognize the problems and fix them. He thought he had a really good strategy, but he didn't realize that it had functional issues in itself that made it difficult to execute. Does this make sense? I mean, if you're working with a crappy system, that can be the problem itself. It's not because you lack discipline. It's not because you're making changes to it. It's because the system's broken to start with. And I'm sure you've experienced this, as far as, getting systems offline, and maybe paid for them, maybe you got a free one or whatever. But it's like, you go to trade it, and it's like, it's just not a good system. It's not easy to execute. There are problems with it, functional. Okay. So the thing is, when you run into this and your system has functional issues, that introduces inherent variability. There's inconsistency built into what you're doing. And the thing is, to have a good system, there are 14 different characteristics. There really are, and distinct characteristics. And the problem is most traders are working with a system that is lacking in several, if not all of these characteristics. And the thing is, they don't really have a system. They have more of an idea for a system. They've got a strategy, but they don't have a system. And there's a difference. We're gonna get to that here in just a minute. Okay, back to quality. I mean, from my quality days, I know what makes for a good, repeatable, predictable process that will produce consistent results. And it's amazing how many traders are trying to stick to a system and they're not changing it, but they're plagued with lousy results because of the system itself. And they just don't realize that. And again, we're going to come back to that in just a minute. Okay, so now let's take just a second here because I want to shift gears. Yeah, we're going to switch over to the 3 keys to consistent profits. I mean, in helping thousands of traders over the last 18 years, I found that there are 3 things, these 3 keys that every trader needs to get consistently profitable in a reasonable period of time. Seriously, if you want to get there, you don't want it to take a year, 5 years, or 10 years. You don't want to just beat your head on the rock trying to figure it out and get slapped around by the markets. Pay attention. This is how you do it. Okay. Now, first question, yeah, okay, what's a reasonable period of time? Well, in and of itself, trading is not so complex that it requires years to understand and get competent with it. It really doesn't. But at the same time, it doesn't lend itself to just being figured out. That was the big mistake I made and so many other traders make. It's like, yeah, okay, I know, I get it. And you jump in, you think I can figure it out as I go. It's not that easy. The markets will just continue to slap you and take your money without telling you what you're doing wrong. Seriously, they'll just punish you. And that's why in most trading books, though, it's seriously, if most trading books that you read, it doesn't say, yeah, you get profitable in 6 months or 3 months or a year. No, the books all say it's going to take you 5 to 22 years to become a consistently profitable trader. And the thing is, it really doesn't take that long. If you're trying to figure it out by yourself, just by learning through trial and error, yeah, it's going to take a while. The thing is, yeah, if you're trying to figure it out all along, yeah, it's going to take that long. See, here's the problem, and this is my problem my first year, is I didn't know what I didn't know, and I couldn't see what I couldn't see. I was my own limitation, and this is the same for this is true for everybody. If you're coming into trading, you don't know what you don't know, and the thing is, though, here's where you can make such a huge difference. If you have good help, you can get there in a few months, sometimes just a few weeks, and it's really cool. But you got to have that outside perspective. So again, what's a reasonable time? If you've been trading for more than 6 months and you're still losing money or you're struggling to make it, this is a clear indication that you should reconsider your approach. I kid you not. 6 months is more than enough time to learn how to get good at this. It really is. Way more. 6 months is very generous. So let me ask you, because a lot of people think it takes 12 months, 18 months. How long do you think it should take to get consistently profitable as a trader? How many years or months? Go ahead and put it in the chat. How long do you think it should take? 2 to 3 years, 2 years, okay? 18 months, 4 years, 2 years, 5 years, yeah. Believe it or not, yeah, if you're sharp, 6 months, but again, you got to get the outside perspective, just because there are so many things about this that are not evident. So I'm day 380 trading. Cool, day from the journal. Oh, that's cool. 2 years. Yeah, most everybody thinks it takes that long. If start correct with info, no bad habits. Get 1 year. Okay. Yeah. Nikki. Yeah, absolutely. With proper guidance, of course, it's going to be faster. Of course. If you're trying to figure it out on your own, it can take forever. Just like me with golfing. I've been golfing for years, and I may never get there unless I go hire a pro to help teach me. And to teach me the things I don't know and I can't figure out on my own. Okay. All right. So let's keep moving. Let's take a look at these 3 keys. These are the 3 things every trader needs to get consistently profitable in a reasonable period of time. And we are talking literally weeks rather than years. Seriously. Here's the first key. A true system. How can you expect to have consistent results if you yourself are inconsistent in what you're doing? You have to be consistent in what you do if you want consistent profit. If you have a good strategy, you want to execute that strategy over and over and over again, right? Again, back to the simple secret. A good strategy, even an average or mediocre strategy, executed consistently, it will outperform a great strategy that is executed poorly. And so this is the thing. You need a true system, a good process. And here's the thing. and this is one where so many people get led astray. This is a mistake so many traders are often led to make, is thinking that a good strategy automatically equals a good system. But here's the thing, a strategy and a system are two very different matters. They really are. And again, this is my quality assurance coming in. Your strategy is how you plan to get in and out of the markets and make money. For example, let's say, when the moving averages cross over, I want to get in because that indicates that, a change in sentiment with some momentum. Or, there's a breakout, I've got to move, and it retraces, and the trend resumed after a 50% Fibonacci test. That's a strategy. Those are strategies. A system is how you're going to execute that strategy consistently hundreds or thousands of times. Big difference. Just because you have a strategy doesn't mean you have a system. A system is a whole different thing. That's how you make it a process that will produce a repeatable, predictable output. A system is how you make that happen. The strategy is not the magic in and of itself. Okay, so question time. I love asking this question. So if someone asks you, how do you answer this question? Seriously, and put your answer in the chat. What is a trading system? What is a trading system? If somebody asks you, how do you normally answer that? Okay. Well, don't know yet. All right. Fair enough, Andy. Cool. Well, usually when I ask people, what is a trading system? The answers that I usually get, well, okay, James says risk management, entry and exit process. Fair enough. Usually when I ask people this question, the answers that I get will be, it's my rules, or it's my rules and my indicators. But from my quality days, here's the distinction. Your trading system is what you do. That's the difference. It's not your rules. It's not your indicators. It's not your charts. Those are tools that you use. Your system is what you do. Okay. Next question. And go ahead and put your answer in the chat if you would. This is an easy one. Is your trading system documented? Whatever it is you do, is it documented somewhere? Have you written it down? Or no? Throw it in the chat. Seriously, yes or no? Paco says yes. No, yes. Oh, okay, cool. Now see, this is where it's kind of fun. When I ask most traders this question, I usually get the following answers: either no or yeah, but I don't really use it. What I do is something different. So the thing is, and this is really important, when you get your system properly defined and documented, this makes a huge difference in being able to execute it consistently. This is huge. Again, this goes back to my quality assurance days. And I didn't invent quality assurance, but if you're taking an activity that you want to do on a repeated basis and you want consistent output from it, defining and documenting it is huge. It can sound really, so simple, but this is one of those easy things that can make all the difference in the world. And the results when you do this, here's what makes a big difference. Documented means backtesting? No, it's just written down. All right, my strategy and system above my trade log sheet. I agree. Okay. Here's the thing. When you document it, now you have a clear reference to keep deviations and changes under control. Confusion gets replaced with clarity. So many traders are trading from memory, and it's amazing because when you're trading from memory, you think that you know it, but the thing is, depending on how you're feeling, you're going to interpret things and remember things very differently. When you're feeling crappy versus when you're feeling excellent. And so, just what you think you have in your head, if you're trading from memory, it can change big time. Okay. Here's the other thing. When you do this, you get a tremendous reduction in stress and fear. Again, just because of the clarity. It gets a whole lot easier to execute too, and with fewer mistakes. Perfect example with Robert Viejo. He says, I highly recommend Brian, as his ability to focus and gain clarity has been instrumental in my recent trading success. In a workshop, it was a group workshop, went through his strategy, his system, and we made it a good system, a good process, and it was cool. And for him, it was like a huge aha moment, and it really had a big impact on his trading. Okay, so here's the second key. That was the first one. Second key, skills and confidence. Trading requires more than simply the ability to place trades. There is a range of skills that you need to be a self-sufficient, successful trader. Now, of course, you do need to be competent and have confidence in yourself and your system. So they go hand in hand. You got to have the skills. You also need the confidence to be consistently, profitable. Now, so what are some of the skills that you need? Well, first of all, yeah, you need to know how to define and document your system. That's one of the big ones. You need to know how to choose a system. You need to know how to evaluate a system functionally. Just looking at it, is this going to have problems trying to execute it? You need to know how to properly test your system. Keyword properly. If you've ever, back tested a system and then, and you get certain results and then you take it to the, live markets with real trading and your real trading, you're getting killed, but back testing look great. If that ever happened to you, I know the experience happens to a lot of traders. And here's the thing: you have to know how to trade, how to test your system properly. It's good that you want to test it. I mean, and the reason that we test is we want to know. We do the test so that we know what to expect when we go to trading with real money, right? But you got to know how to test it right, because if you don't test it properly, you're not going to get results that you can rely on, and that's the big thing. Okay. You also need to know how to establish confidence with your system. That's a skill set. It doesn't just happen. You got to know how to make changes in your system in a way that doesn't hurt you. This is a skill set. When your trading's not working, you need to know how to fix it when it's not working. This is a skill set, and there's a whole bunch of others. So, and now a note on self-sabotage, and this is important again. So pay attention. If you feel like you've been sabotaging yourself, this is a big one. It really is. For many traders, their subconscious sabotages them because it knows that they are lacking the skills for this job. And again, I experienced this myself. Because of this, your subconscious will look at you and it'll say, hey, you're not worthy of the success that you're experiencing here, because it was mostly luck. You're still lacking skills. You're still an amateur. And so it's going to slap you back down and, cause you to give those profits back. That's what your subconscious is doing. It's correcting the situation. Now, here's the thing. As far as acquiring the skills, fear is one of the big killers in trading, and it comes in many forms. And most of the fears come from doubt about yourself and or your system, right? Well, as you develop skill and competence as a trader, you replace fear with confidence. And so you can execute consistently with a whole greater ease. And that's one of the nice things about it. As you get better, it gets easier and your emotions calm down. So long as you're just, remaining a rank amateur and just focusing on, I just need need a good strategy, and you're just jumping from strategy to strategy, but you're not focusing on developing the skills as a trader, it's going to stay rough. As you get more skilled and more competent and your abilities grow and you develop yourself as a trader, your emotions naturally calm down. And that's what's really cool. Okay. Like from Mary Beth Edmondson. She goes, Dear Brian, certainly I've noticed some concrete improvements in my trading. I've learned to cut my losses on a dime. I've learned to follow my signals rather than second guessing my system all the time. The fear factor is greatly diminished. And for these improvements, I am thankful. So it does work. Okay. Third key, mental conditioning. This is huge. This isn't just psychology. We're talking about mental conditioning. This is to make it so that the events of the day no longer trigger the emotions that cause all the problems. This is not about controlling your emotions. This is instead getting you mentally right so that your emotions aren't a problem. Again, you have the skills and the confidence. There's also certain mental conditioning so that, you just go and you do your thing. And the markets can do what they want. The market can move, it can tank, it can run, whatever, it could go flat. You can win a trade, you can lose a trade, and these things don't affect you anymore. That's the whole thing. But the change has to come in you. It comes through developing the skills, developing the confidence, and specific mental conditioning. And here's the thing. We talked about the damage that gets done from the kiss of death, your early days, the bad training that you got early on. What we have to do, though, right now is we have to rewire your head. We have to undo that damage that currently exists, not some mommy daddy issue, not some, relationship with money stuff, again, that everybody, trading psychology likes to talk about. No, the damage came from your trading experience. So we have to undo that damage. I mean, the problems that you're fighting, they get removed because we're going to change your trading experience. I mean, just from what you've learned here today, it's already changed your trading experience because we've been able to affect some of your perspectives. You're going to look at your trading and think about your trading a little differently just because of what you've been exposed to today. So this is cool. But the main thing is we want to retrain you in a proper and constructive manner so that you operate every day with confidence and peace of mind. And it only comes through training. You can't keep reinforcing the past. You need new training that, again, it rewires you, it undoes the damage, it puts you, it trains you to operate in a proper manner that serves you well. Now, how do we make it help? How do we make it happen? Well, you've heard me say it, and it's absolutely true. If you're trying to do this by yourself, good luck. It's going to take a while. You might get there, but it's going to take a while. Fastest way to make it happen is get outside help. Trading does not lend itself to being figured out. The markets will just continue to slap you and take your money, and it will go on indefinitely. You need that outside perspective because, again, you can't see what you can't see, and you don't know what you don't know, and that's where the outside help comes from. When I'm working with traders, I can look at what they're doing, and it kills me. And again, I was on the other side of this. I know what it's like, but I can look at what you're doing, and it's like, hey, dude, stop doing that. You need to focus over here. This is where you need to focus, because I can see what they can't. I know what they don't know yet, and that's okay, and it's cool. So if you're on, if you're on the other side of that, well, you want to get the outside help. That's where you really get the difference. Adrian, since we had our one-on-one coaching, I can honestly say that I've made huge leaps forward, seen a dramatic and measured improvement, and feel much more confident, relaxed, and able to pull the trigger when I need to than before. And just a little insight with Adrian. He was actually measuring, he was tracking how many times he hesitated with his trading. He was hesitating on almost 80% of his trades. And it went to like 2% after we worked together. Anyway, before the coaching, I felt that I could see the light at the end of the tunnel, but I just could not get there. I now feel that I'm actually in the light and moving forward. So it really does. It makes a huge difference. Now, at this point, sometimes I'll hear someone say like, hey, okay, Brian, I get what you're saying, but I don't have time to do anything. I just want to trade. Okay. I'm good with my system. I just need to focus on this one. Okay, fair enough. And if that's how you feel, cool. I wish you the best. I really do. But understand, if you want to go the hard road about it, don't complain if it's, a year from now, you're still basically in the same position and you're not making the kind of money that you want. I'm trying to share with you the stuff that really will make a difference in your trading. So if you're feeling some resistance to it, okay, just recognize the resistance. Okay. Yeah, this has been a lot. Let's take a quick breather. We've covered a lot here. I know it can be a lot to take in. So let's do a quick recap. Again, I know that we've covered a lot. As far as what we've covered, we talked about, the 5 myths. We talked about the simple secret to making money trading, which is an average, or even mediocre strategy executed consistently will outperform and make more money than a great strategy executed inconsistently, or more, very, very concisely, consistency first, strategy second. That's how you make your life easier as a trader. Focus on consistency first. We also talked about the 3 obstacles to consistent profits: deviating from your system, not so much from a lack of discipline, but the kiss of death and establishing a bad normal early on, that bad training that you went through. Obstacle number 2 is regular changes to your system. If you're changing your system all the time, you're going to have a hard time getting consistent results because you're creating the variability. Obstacle number 3 is having a good strategy, but a lousy system. So those are the 3 obstacles. The other thing, the difference between a strategy and a system, and it's why it's so important to know the difference. The importance of documenting your system and doing it properly. We've also talked about the 3 things that traders need to realize consistent profits in a reasonable time. First thing, you need a solid system. You need the skills and the confidence, and you need that mental conditioning to get your head right. Again, not from the way you hear about in most trading psychology, talk, but what we've been talking about here, where it's practical and it's pretty much all related to your trading experience. I also talked about how one of the biggest problems for traders is a lack of good training. How not having the full skill set needed for the trading makes it difficult, confusing, and stressful. How not having good training and the skill set also causes self-sabotage, along with making it tough to have confidence. Okay, so a few questions for you. And if you would, put your answers in the chat if you want to, but has this been enjoyable for you? And have you found this valuable? So yeah, let me know in the chat. Has this been helpful? I'm going to go ahead and pause to share again. So yeah, let me know. All right, cool. Wow, Patrick, yeah, interesting. I work in R&D engineering in the semiconductor field. I also attend a house training on quality assurance. It's a shame I seldom apply the skills on trading because I never believe both are related in any way. Glad I attended this. Yeah, cool. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, for me, seriously, guys, this is what allowed me to turn my trading around. Is this understanding what I learned from quality assurance? I was very lucky. Had I not had the quality assurance background, I never would have been able to turn my trading around, or it would have taken me forever. This is what allowed me to turn things around fast. And the cool thing is, here's the really cool thing about all this. It's not something wrong with you. You don't have something so wrong with you that it's going to take a year on a therapist's couch to figure what it is buried deep in your subconscious. So we have to, uncover and resolve, from your childhood or whatever. No, this is a skill set, and you can learn a skill set, and you can learn it pretty quickly. And that's what's really cool about it. And when you learn the skill set, it fixes the psychological issues, because most of your psychological issues are really, they're from the lack of training, the bad training. It's the stuff that you don't know that's hurting you. And so, very cool. See, it's my first time learning the system. This is different from a strategy. Cool. What are the main keys for a great system? What are the 14 characteristics? Okay. Well, I'll share a couple of them with you. First of all, and we're not going to go through the whole list of 14, but a few of the things that a good system really does need is, first of all, it needs to be based on a decent premise. You'd be amazed how many traders, their strategy, their system, it's not really even based on any kind of a premise. Like I said, the strategies that I shared with you, it's like, okay, here's what I mean by a premise. If you answer the question, why do I think this will work? If you ever heard of the term investment thesis, it's used in joint venture space and mergers and acquisitions, but investment thesis is a common term, and it's basically where you answer the question, why do I think this will work? Why do I think it will make money? And so the premise of your strategy really needs to answer that question, instead of, well, I'm going to buy when the RSI gets down to 20, and I'll sell when it's up above 80. That's not a premise. That's just an idea for something to do. Your strategy is, well, when the market's oversold, that's when I want to go ahead and get in and sell, because the market sentiment says, okay, at that point, and so, like I said, it's what you think is going on in the market, that why this strategy will work. That's your premise. So one of the very first things you got to have is a good, clear premise. It also needs to be clear, it needs to be complete. And again, it's a functional perspective. And one of the things, like I said, in my coaching that I teach, we go through the entire list of all the characteristics. Actually, there's 17. I got to add a couple to it. But anyway, let's see. DC says, you hit on my points of concern, gave validation to my thought process. I'm super pumped. Yeah, you're welcome, man. Okay, so we do need to keep moving. I'm running over a little bit. Other questions? Okay, do you now feel more comfortable with your ability to make money as a trader? I hope you do. Seriously, I hope that some of the stuff that I've shared with you today really does help you feel a little more relaxed, and it's relieved some stress. It's kind of answered some questions for as far as, I mean, I don't know about you. One of the most frustrating things for me with trading was, I'm looking at it. It's like, man, this looks so simple. Why the hell is it so hard? I used to get so frustrated because it's like, it looks so simple. It shouldn't be kicking my butt the way it is. And it is. And that was just so frustrating. Okay. So again, hopefully, just with some of these, you've had some good aha moments, and hopefully it reduces some of that stress. Other questions, is it fair to say the way you learned here will help you, affect that better that you seek in your trading? I hope it does. Seriously, I really hope it does. I just wanted to take a second there and throw a few questions out. But yeah, as far as one last question though, and okay, if you like what you've heard so far, and I mean, here's the one big question: if you had two options, one being where you learned, or where you take what you learned here today, try to do it by yourself, or you had the option of having the help of somebody that's done this over and over again, which would you choose? And if you're thinking option two, I got some good news for you, because I've got a variable affordable course that will take you through the entire process that we just discussed. Establishing consistency in your trading, giving you the skills and the confidence that you need, rewiring your head and body for easy, consistent execution by changing your trading experience. I mean, as far as the results, Jonathan Crone, Brian, prior to working with you, I've been working on a few issues, been holding back my trading for some time. With your insight about trading business, I've been able to clarify challenges, devise solutions, and see improvements rather quickly. Rizwan says, you think only finding the right trading system does it all. No way. You have to know the stuff on top of your trading system to generate a complete and ultra successful trading environment. Matt, his thing is, he said, man, I'm a completely different person than I was a couple months ago. So what you want to do right now, and I'm not going to spend time on this. If you want to find out about this course, go to InsideOutTrading.com/PAB Fivers, and I'm going to throw the link up here in the chat. So let me grab that. I'll throw it in the chat. If you want to check it out, cool. Like I said, I'm not going to take a bunch of time here. If you want to find out about it, you can go check it out there. I also have a gift for you. So stick around. Don't truck off just yet. So that's it. If you want to go take a look at the course, one other thing I've got for you, and it's pretty cool, is I've got a strategy guide, or well, it's a cheat sheet really. And it's called the Perfect Trading Strategy Cheat Sheet. But you can go check it out. And again, that's in the chat as well. And that you can just go pick up for free. But that really, it's the 9 criteria when you're looking at a trading strategy. These are the questions that you want to ask to know that it's going to be a good fit for you. That it's not good. And here's why it's so important that you're working with a system that is like a good fit for you. If there's something in a strategy that you're working with and there's something about it that doesn't jive well with you, you're going to have some internal friction that is only going to create problems. And eventually it's probably going to cause you to get away from that system, because it's just going to its performance will deteriorate. So starting with a good strategy is like an excellent first point. So go ahead and go grab that, guys. And again, the link's in the chat. So you can just click on it and go there. And the other question is, did you learn anything new? If you did, cool. And what did you learn today that you can use to make your trading better? Again, the main thing that I want from you is that you take something from here. And yeah, it's in the webinar chat. I'm not seeing it in the chat. I'm not seeing it in the chat. Okay, guys. Are you looking in the Q&A or in the chat? That might be why you're not seeing it.
Yeah, I see it in the chat.
Yeah, okay. And all right, so now just so you guys know, to end it on a proper note, I do very much appreciate that you've taken the time out of your day-to-day, to learn and develop yourself as a trader. Focus on you. Don't chase strategies. Focus on developing yourself as a trader. I mean, because that really is what makes all the difference in the world. It really does. And if you like some free resources to help you with your trading, swing by my site, InsideOutTrading.com. I got some freebies for you there. If you want to book a call with me, we can do that too. But other than that, again, I applaud that you're taking time. You want to learn and you want to get better as a trader. And as long as you keep focused on yourself, that's going to serve you better than anything else. Invest in yourself and you'll reap the rewards for the rest of your trading career. So I hope it's been helpful. If it has, cool. I totally appreciate it. And if there's anything I can do to help you out, and the guys Fivers group here, make sure that they've got a lot of good help for you too. Make sure that you're taking advantage of what they have to offer you. Don't just battle things on your own. Get good help. These guys are good here. So yeah, let's go and wrap things up. Alex, thanks for having me on today, man. I appreciate it. It's been helpful for everybody.
Yeah, definitely check out Brian's content, Brian's things. Also, make sure you come to our trading rooms every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, so you can see Jonathan and I also trading, and that can also help you with your psychology. It can also help you start building up different techniques that you can get in and out of the market with. Everything that we can do to help everybody eventually get funded. That is what we're trying to do here. So again, thank you very much, Brian, and all the value that you gave us today. And we hope to have you again in the future.
Indeed. Have a good day, everybody. Thanks again.
Hi guys, so thank you very much for watching the video. Now make sure you like and subscribe, and most of all, go into the YouTube and check our other content that we provide here at the Fivers. We'll see you in the next one.